See. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome. We've just been laughing because it's taken us a while to get our technology together. But anyway, it is Dave and Mike, and thank you for tuning in, although I'm not allowed to say that anymore. What do you, log in? Is that right? How you do it? How you doing, Mike? You well today?
Good, very good. Yeah.
That's good. 7 weeks of lockdown, I think, and counting, or whatever it is. So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start this podcast with a story. Okay, are you sitting comfortably? And I'm going to tell you all the story. This story time. Are you ready? Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was this farmer. The farmer loved his job, and every day he'd get into his tractor or his Land Rover, actually, and he would drive around past all of his fields, and it's quite a long way, a couple miles or kilometers, until he had a little like a farm office right at the other end of his farm. And every day as he's driving there, he'd pass the fields, and in the fields would be these cows, just normal black and white cows doing what cows do. And he'd drive past them, and he'd been driving past these cows for, I don't know, years, let's say 20 years. And so, to be honest, he doesn't even really see them. He just drives, he's probably listening to the radio, and he's just, doing his thing. So there's this one day, there's always the one day. And this particular day, he got up as normal, unsuspecting, got into his Land Rover, and he was driving to work, listening to the radio. So he's working in his office, and he looks at his watch, and he thinks, he's done his job for the day. He thinks he's gonna go home. He'll get home a little bit early this time, he thinks, and spend some time with his kids and his wife. So jumps into his Land Rover, and he starts the journey home. And he's chugging along on his Land Rover like this, and he's had an uneventful trip home. And eventually, he comes to the very last bend, and he turns the last bend, and something catches him in his eye, and he pulls on the handbrake, jams the Land Rover to an abrupt halt, jumps out of the Land Rover, runs across the road, over the fence, and stands in the field, staring, here's the drama and the suspense, at this huge purple cow, standing in the middle of the field. We couldn't believe it. He'd never seen a purple cow, and certainly not a purple cow standing in his field. He's driven past that same field 20 years ago. Well, he was beside himself. He quickly jumped back over the fence into the Land Rover, started the Land Rover, drove the last 100 yards into the farmer's yard, screaming at the kids and his wife, who came running out the house wondering what was wrong, bundled them into the Land Rover, took them back to the field. They all jumped over the fence, and they all stand with their mouths wide open, staring at this purple cow. This was single-handedly the most eventful day this farmer has had for years. Well, it wasn't long before news got out, because it's quite a small farming community, and the local newspaper guy had turned up, and he wanted to take pictures of the family standing next to the purple cow. Well, news got further very quickly, and soon all of the television crews were in, until his whole farmyard looked like a sound and filming studio. And all they wanted to do is take pictures of him standing next to the
purple cow.
Yes, keep with me, Michael. Keep with me. And so, so the farmer went from being this ordinary farmer to becoming the farmer known as the farmer with the
purple cow.
Purple cow. Suddenly, people didn't want to drink milk from a black and white cow anymore. People only wanted to drink milk from a
purple cow.
Purple cow. And his milk sales shot up. Suddenly, his fame shot up. The kids went to school, and everybody wanted to sit next to the kids who knew and had a
purple cow.
Purple cow. His whole life had turned around. In fact, he even thought about doing something different. He branched out, and he started a purple cow clothing line, which actually made more money than the milk in the end. And so this was the wonderful story of my farmer who had found his purple cow. In a world where there are thousands and thousands of farmers with black and white cows, the farmer with the purple cow is always king.
Yeah. Well done, Davey. It's I've heard you tell that story quite a few times, and it's very intriguing. From Seth Godin's Purple, I think the book's actually called Purple Cow. Hey?
It is indeed, yeah. Although he doesn't
Yeah.
tell it quite like that. I have to say, one day I'll have to apologize to Seth Godin.
I'm sure you'll be devastated too.
But I do think my story is better.
Yeah, but and nobody talks about black and white cows because that's what you see. We talk about the purple cow. It's interesting. Sometimes we're doing values exercises with teams. So when I say values exercises, it's really the work of what are the values of this team and what are the implications of those values. How often people will come up with things like honesty and integrity. Now, honesty and integrity are very, very important values, but am I right in saying they're not purple cow values?
Well, they don't appear to be. I think they can be. They can be, but I don't think they appear to be purple cow values. It's an interesting thought. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. And the thing for me is, I suppose if you are choosing honesty as a value, you've got to find the purple cow in the honesty, because here's the deal: honesty is a passport factor. It's what we expect you to have.
Yeah.
So you're probably not going to come home all excited and say, "Hey, I met this most incredible customer or supplier. They're honest." The person would say, "Well, I'm glad they are honest. They should be honest.
They should be honest."
But I suppose
exactly.
it could be a feature or characteristic. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Milk comes out of cows, whether it's black or white or purple. But milk that comes out of a purple cow is somehow different, right? So it's not honesty. Of course, we want honesty. It's the way in which people are honest. It's how they are honest. You can be honest, but just rude. Honestly, but rude. Some people are just say, "Oh, well, I'm just honest. I'll just tell it as it is." Well, you can be, and that can make you a purple cow in the negative sense, to be honest. But there are some people that can then turn honesty into something that it's remarkable. You see, what I wanted to do is connect the story of the purple cow with yesterday's podcast on being remarkable.
Yes.
See, the purple cow is remarkable. He wanted to remark to his family on this purple cow. The person that is being honest, but in a purple cow way, is remarkable. So honesty isn't the remarkability. It is the way in which someone is honest that makes them remarkable. Would you agree?
And absolutely. So it's this concept again of the populist path is hardly ever remarkable or a purple cow because everybody's doing it.
Yes.
But the remarkable purple cow is something which takes your breath away, and you go, "Wow, that's amazing. Let me take you to this place." And so there is this challenge to us in business, but even just as individuals, which is what takes people's breath away, and often it's very, very small things. I like Starbucks. I don't know if they still got the same values, but many years ago, they have this beautiful value which is called surprise and delight. And perhaps it's still one of their values, but it sort of goes off the notion where they would say to the people that work for them, find an opportunity to surprise and delight customers because everybody likes a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so surprise and delight is a value statement, which is a purple cow statement, or they're trying to make into a purple cow statement. Because like Disneyland, I think, say something like this, people need to leave with the same smile that they came into the park with. And therefore, you need to be doing some purple cow stuff for that to happen. We know they're coming in excited. Will they leave excited?
Yes. I love that. I think purple cows, they don't have to be massive, although they can be. I think, I've worked with organizations. One of them was a hire. They used to hire equipment out. And I challenged them around being purple cow. In fact, they changed their whole advertising campaign around it. So it's you can do these huge things which get you attention, because that's what purple cows get. But they also can be small things. I mean, I think even in my own home, yesterday you challenged me to do something remarkable, right? I couldn't really think of anything too remarkable, but so I'm in the supermarket and suddenly I remembered I did something remarkable. So I went and bought some flowers. We don't really have a vase because we only just moved in this house. I bought some flowers. I put them in a jam jar and tossed it up and stuff. But it was just something, you inspired me to be a bit more remarkable that day. And I think purple cow, I've been in some families where they have routines, or they have rituals. And those rituals are unique to that family. And it's actually a purple cow for that family. It's something that has made that family really unique. One of the things we used to do in our family when the kids were at home is every Sunday night was movie and popcorn night, regardless. That was the thing we did. And it was like a little purple cow for our family. So, I love working with people, and I love to try and find out what is the one thing that's unique about you, and how can we let the world see that more? Because the more the world sees your uniqueness, the more, I believe the unique gifts that God has given us start to emulate, and the more people get inspired by it.
Yeah, okay. And so it ties in with a word that we did last week or the week before, which would be curiosity. And it's to develop a sense of curiosity for what is a purple cow factor of my life. And I think we could possibly replace it also with the word X factor. Do you have a bit of magic, a bit of an X factor? Years ago, I read a book where the guy was talking about the value equation. And it's this whole concept of, do you add value?
Yeah.
And what is value? And it's interesting that definitely one of the ingredients of adding value to a customer is about a magical X factor, where maybe you're more expensive, but the customer says, I want you because you bring this.
Yes.
So would I be right, Dave, then it's saying a purple cow might require a little bit of work because you identify it, and then you seek to master it.
I think to be honest with you, to use the farmer's analogy, I think there's a purple cow in every field. It just hasn't been discovered. And I think the challenge here is I believe that every person has something that's unique about them. Every person in the world, because I believe that we are fundamentally created unique and special. And I believe that part of our quest, I'm getting a bit philosophical perhaps here, but part of our quest in life is to discover that purple cowness that is living within us. I believe there's something unique about every family unit that should be different from everyone else. I watch X Factor with keen interest, and you can say what you like about Simon Cowell, but he does seem to understand that it isn't about turning up and singing your song in key and on time. It is about you taking the audience to a new special place.
Yeah.
So, it's not about singing and dancing. It's about letting the world see this something is unique, and how you connect that uniqueness to the people around you. I don't know how else to say that really, but when people do eventually connect their uniqueness to the people around them, they've got something very, very special.
Okay, so it's an interesting question, and I know time's probably running out. So do you find your purple cow, or do you develop a purple cow, or is it both?
It's a great question, isn't it? Again, let me be philosophical then. Maybe it's the coffee I had. So seek and you will find, right, as a principle. If you believe, and I do believe, that there is a purple cow inside all of us. That's a crazy thing to say, but you know what I mean. So I believe that if we set a quest to firstly challenge ourselves to be remarkable every day, okay, to stand in the queue, to think, what can I do that's different from the rest? How can I stand out from the herd? I think if we have that mentality going on, I think you will inevitably find your purple cow anyway. I think secondly is to always be listening to what other people say about you, because inevitably they might discover the purple cow in you before you do. and to hear that and to cultivate and build on that, you know. And then that, you know, I think also a great question is to ask, what is working in my life, and what has consistently worked for me in my life?
Yeah.
Because often those are great pointers towards what are unique hidden purple cows within us, you know, something that has worked. I'm reading a book on purpose at the moment. And what I loved about this book is it doesn't define purpose as a career or a calling or a title or a job. He says in this book, he says, ask yourself, what is the one thing that you have always seemed to be able to do right from an early age? And track how that has followed you right through your life, because that actually is your purpose. That is your purple cow, you know, as it were. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
We could talk about this for ages.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's a bit of a blend. So it's to know your strengths, and then saying, how do I do something in a fresh, new way, but using my strengths, using what it is that I'm good at, and so you begin to sort of develop the purple cow. And then also, the more you believe that you've got purple cows, the more you're likely to find them. And it's that curiosity to just and the more you find, the more you realize there's a well that goes down deep.
I love that. Isn't it amazing how in the last couple of weeks, Mike, we've spoken and we talked about courage, curiosity, remarkability, persistence. These are words that we spent time on, and actually they are all interconnected to bring us to this point where we say there is something unique and special about each and every one of us. And it is our right, or it is our destiny to find that thing and let the world see it, you know. Be curious, be courageous. Love that stuff, you know.
Excellent. I enjoyed that, Daddy.
Let's chat again. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay, my friend. Take care. Have a good one.